A bunch of masked strangers have tied up a guy in the woods. One of them, wielding an axe, quickly kills him, while the other two make sure he's completely finished off. Meanwhile, Maya wakes up in the hospital. She's made it through the attack, but when the doctor tells her that her fiancé has passed away, she breaks down in tears. At the same time, the town sheriff and his officers show up to get her side of the story. She recalls being tied up and remembers a woman knocking on their door, asking for someone named Tamara. The police don't ask her many questions and soon leave. They head to the diner, where a woman approaches them, worried about the situation. From a distance, Shelley, the waitress, is eavesdropping. She suddenly has a flashback to her childhood, playing alone in a park. She has a crush on a boy, but a group of girls tramples her sandcastle, and one of them shares a knowing glance with her. As night falls, Maya lies alone in her hospital bed, reminiscing about her night with her lover. Shortly after, Nurse Danica comes in to give her some medication. Maya inquires if she knows Tamara, but Danica dismisses it as just a ghost story that people talk about. She advises Maya not to dwell on it too much, and then leaves. Maya is dreaming about snuggling up next to her partner when, out of nowhere, he morphs into a masked stranger. She jolts awake, feeling a chill, and her phone buzzes. It's a message from her sister saying she's coming to pick her up by tomorrow. Just then, she receives a call, thinking it's her sister, but the voice on the other end is asking for Tamara. She hangs up, only to hear security telling someone to back off, followed by a panicked voice urging to run. Soon, loud bangs echo through the place. Maya gets out of bed and quietly approaches the door. She steps outside, but the area is deserted. She tiptoes toward the exit, only to find it locked. Suddenly, the lights go out and emergency lights flicker on. She notices her phone has lost signal too. Cautiously, she begins to navigate through the hospital, and soon, she sees the killer pulling back the curtain in the hallway. She ducks and darts into one of the rooms, pulling the curtains around each bed to throw off the stranger. When the man enters and starts searching through the curtains, as she makes a run for it, he chases after her. She bursts into the corridor and sprints down the long stretch. Finally, she reaches the small elevator, hops in, presses the button, and pulls the shutter down just as one of the other two arrives there. She bangs on the grill, but the elevator starts descending. She makes her way out safely and continues walking quietly through the shallow path. But soon, the killer shows up right in front of her. He lunges at her, and she quickly slips into the adjacent room. Inside, she hides behind a stack of cylinders. The guy comes in, axe in hand, searching for her. While she's hiding, she accidentally makes a noise, which alerts the killer. He slowly approaches her, knocking over the cylinders in the process. In a flash, Maya grabs a gas pipe and sprays it in his face. She bolts, heads downstairs, and finds herself in the morgue. There are a few bodies lying around, and one door is shut tight. She opens a fridge, but quickly slams it shut. She hears the killer approaching. Before long, he enters, but Maya is nowhere to be found. He inspects both bodies before moving towards the fridges. Maya is tucked away in one of them, hiding next to her fiancé's body. The killer methodically opens each fridge, and as he gets closer to hers, she can see him clearly. Just before he opens the door, a janitor walks in. Before he can escape, the killer brings down his axe on the janitor's head. He collapses dead, and the killer drags his body away. Maya weeps and gently strokes her lover's body. She finally makes her way out and leaves the building. It's pouring rain outside. She finds herself in the middle of the street. She runs in the direction her eyes guide her. The killer watches her from behind. She arrives at a house and spots a car. Unfortunately, the key is missing. She then discovers a farm and makes her way there. The strangers have already arrived. She notices a collection of keys hanging nearby. Just as she reaches for one, a woman appears from behind, aiming a gun at her. Maya raises her hands and asks to call the police. The woman replies that the sheriff won't be able to help. Maya is puzzled by this, but before she can ask for clarification, a stranger shoots an arrow at her, killing the woman. Without wasting a second, Maya dashes for the gun, but the stranger escapes, causing her to miss her shot. There's also a guy with an axe present. She fires, but the gun is out of bullets. She takes off again and hides in the stable. The stranger creeps around, searching for her. Maya is concealed with a pitchfork. As the stranger approaches, she strikes at their leg. They scream in agony as Maya makes her escape. Maya bolts into the bathroom, and with the single key she managed to grab, she locks the door. The stranger slams his axe against the door. She attempts to open the window, but it won't budge. The killer grabs her hair and slams her head against the door. Somehow, she breaks free from his grip and leaps out of the window. She races through the woods and finds herself on the road, where a car is speeding towards her. It's the hospital nurse, accompanied by a friend she mentions is an ex-military. They help her into the car and give her a first aid kit to stop the bleeding from her abdomen. She feels a bit unsure and panics a lot. She tries to open the door and immediately starts banging on it, desperate to get out. They reassure her, telling her that they want to help. Maya eventually calms down, but trust is still an issue for her. The car starts up, and the nurse turns on the radio, which is playing a Christian prayer. This makes her feel even more paranoid, and she grabs the kit. Before long, a couple guys show show up at the door. The nurse steps out and they begin to chat, clearly familiar with each other. The guys get into the car and sit right next to her. She starts feeling even more uneasy and notices a weird smiley face tattoo on one of the guys. Then, the military woman pulls out a knife, but it's just to slice an apple. She starts to see them as the masked strangers. Overwhelmed with panic, she spots the knife nearby, rushes for it, and leaps out of the car. She tumbles into the woods. They stop the car and call out for her, but she keeps running. She hides behind a rock while they search for her with a flashlight. After not finding her, they leave. As dawn breaks, Maya heads to a stream to drink some water. She then checks her wound, which is torn and bleeding. She pulls out the medical kit and finds antiseptics and a needle inside. She uses them to stitch up her wound, trying to hide her pain as best as she can. After that, she walks away, and soon after, the killers arrive and discover her bandages left behind. Maya has found a spot in the woods to start a fire. She warms herself up, but soon hears something approaching. She becomes alert and takes off running. Spotting a wrecked car, she hops inside. Suddenly, something bangs against the car, shattering the window. Out of nowhere, everything goes silent. But before she can think, the car is hit again, and the other window breaks. She cautiously peeks out to see what's going on, but nothing stands out. The car starts shaking again. Something keeps banging on it from behind. Unable to open the door, she kicks at it repeatedly. It finally breaks, and she bolts out. It turns out to be a wild boar that attacked the car. It chases her and drags her along the ground. She tries to kick it away, but it bites her leg. Maya then pretends to be still while the boar sniffs her. After checking her out, it wanders off. Just as she's about to crawl away, the boar lunges at her again. This time, it bites her leg even harder. She kicks it off and manages to grab a fire log. She hits its head over and over, but doesn't work. Then she spots a knife nearby and holds it up as the boar leaps at her, getting stabbed in the process. It collapses in front of her. Frustrated, she keeps stabbing it until it's completely done. She starts walking again. The strangers come across a barn, and among them, Shelley reminisces about her childhood, playing in a barn like this with her sweetheart. Then, her rival trips, and he rushes to help her, which she definitely doesn't appreciate. Meanwhile, Maya has made her way through the whole jungle to get to her house, which is locked up tight. She notices the broken door and is hit with memories from a night before. As she steps inside, she recalls her fiancé lying on the floor hurt. She gathers herself, drinks some water, eats something, and grabs a knife. Putting on her lover's hoodie, she's about to head out when she bumps into a guy. He introduces himself as Billy, a police officer. Noticing her situation, he offers her a ride in his car, but just as he's about to get in, an arrow strikes him in the head. Another arrow flies and hits the front of the car. Quickly, she jumps into the driver's seat and speeds away as one of their arrows shatters the back window. She races through the woods again, but the engine starts to fail. Still, she manages to reach a house and pounds on the door. A guy steps out, and it turns out he's one of the guys from the car she escaped from. She wakes up in bed, finding herself in a room where her knife is nowhere to be seen. Looking in the mirror, she notices her wounds have been treated. She gets up, and to her surprise, she encounters the guy from the car. His name is Preacher, and he seems a bit threatening towards her. She tries to get past him, but he blocks her way. Just then, others rush in, and he steps out. She's still frightened of them, even as they attempt to assist her. Meanwhile, an ambulance is on its way to Maya's location and stops at a gas station. A sign indicates that payment is required inside the house. Suddenly, the owner pops out from under a car. He asks where they're headed, and after hearing the answer, he looks a bit intimidated but soon returns. Maya gets comfortable in a room while her sister informs her that she's called an ambulance to come get her. Out of nowhere, she spots Preacher. He's acting strange again and starts asking her about her injuries. She notices his hand, which is holding a knife. That hand looks familiar, almost like the killer's. He inquires about her experiences, but she doesn't really respond, and he storms off, calling her a bitch. She quickly shuts the door and locks it tight. Searching the room, she finds a pair of scissors. Peeking out the window, she sees a woman kicking Preacher out of the house. She texts her sister to ask how far away the ambulance is. Just then, she hears a loud thud on the door. She sends a message, but the connection drops again. She glances back and spots one of the strangers again, trying to force their way in through the door. She rushes to secure it. She manages to slam it shut, but one of them is already right behind her. The moment she moves, her instincts kick in, and she stabs them with the scissors. She bolts out and shuts the door behind her. From the washroom, she notices the ambulance waiting outside. The door is being pounded on, but it gradually quiets down. She presses her ears against the door and hears nothing. When she opens it, she finds it empty. She steps out of the room and heads downstairs. To her horror, she discovers both women tied to chairs and lifeless. One of the strangers is at the door. She slips past unnoticed and exits quietly. The ambulance is there, but the driver is sprawled dead on the porch. She rushes in, only to find the driver is actually a stranger. Without hesitation, she attacks. Maya dodges the stabs and manages to wrest the knife from her grip. She fights back, pushing the stranger back into the chair. Pulling out the scissors, she stabs her in the ears. The stranger kicks her away. Maya falls back, but the stranger is immobilized and soon goes silent. Suddenly, the axe-wielding guy starts smashing the window. She dashes to the steering wheel. She starts the car, but the girl behind her isn't done yet and puts her in a chokehold. Maya grabs the seatbelt, secures herself, and crashes the car. The ambulance tips over. She crawls out and sees the killer lying on the road. She cautiously approaches to remove her masks, but soon others arrive in a car. She flees into the woods. The stranger steps out and takes off her mask. It's Shelley. The man mourns for her and reminisces about their childhood. Once, while swinging in the park, she spots that same girl playing a game with her boyfriend and kissing him. Anger wells up inside her, and that girl goes back to playing. She opens the door and finds Shelley standing there. In a fit of rage, she beats her to death. Eventually, the guy arrives and sits with her, both holding the murder weapon in front of the body. The authorities rush in while they sit there, with a smiley face painted over the blood. The movie will continue. You were watching the recap of the 2025 movie The Strangers Chapter 2. If you have enjoyed the video, press the like button, and for more content like this, stay subscribed to the channel. Until the next video, you may enjoy this.